Hi everyone, it's Brian. It's summer 2025 and it's a scorcher. It's also the second release of the year from Salesforce, summer 25. Now, this video, we're going to talk about 10 features of that release that I want you to know. Before I get there, though, you might have gotten an email a couple Saturdays ago when they did the release about ICU locale format. If you got that, and you got a little bit of an older org, check out a YouTube video I did a few months ago covering that topic. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to start with 3 features specific to Agentforce that were introduced this summer. First, pipeline management for sales. So in quotes. So let's imagine that you have a customer, a prospect, and you're working back and forth and you're exchanging emails. And in one of the emails that comes from the customer, they're kind of implying a negotiation is happening. Agentforce detects that, flips the stage automatically to negotiation. A little bit later, same prospect, you're close to the finish line working on quotes, and you think, in order to really seal this deal, let me drop that 15% discount on that quote just to make sure we're all good. When you go into the system, instruct Agentforce to do that, it automatically changes the quote, redoes the PDF, resends to the customer, and articulates in the body of the message to the customer that there's a 15% discount automatically. What about on service? So on the service side, typically there's a lot of volume back and forth with customers. So imagine a customer emails or texts and says, why is my bill for consumption volume so high this month? Well, Agentforce picks that up, looks at the question, goes in, finds the answer, and articulates a response back to the customer automatically. What about Marketing Cloud? So Marketing Cloud has not really had too much AI investment yet. This release changes that. So here's an example. Let's say you have a marketer who wants to do a drip campaign, but isn't quite sure where to start. Well, there's a custom marketing assistant in Agentforce for Marketing Cloud that generates emails and cadences based on goals, audiences, and prior engagement. It's a great first entry into AI for Marketing Cloud. Now we're going to go into my favorite part of Salesforce, Flow. You've probably seen some videos I've done on Flow. Here's a few things that they've released regarding Flow in summer 2025. Send email. So Flow has had a send email action for a while. It essentially does the same thing as the email alert, but it's never been quite as robust as I've always wanted it to be. So I've actually been relying on the old school email alerts. But I'm switching now. Because in this release, there's a lot better functionality for sending emails using the send email action, grouping content together, allowing you to go in and use a rich text editor to define the body and pull in variables. It's a lot easier. Another thing with, speaking of Flow, let's talk about file uploads. Now, one of the frankly annoying things that I've noticed about that is this. Imagine you have a form for a customer. Let's say it's a warranty registration form. And on that form, there's a file upload for a proof of purchase. Pretty common. And it's required because you've got to have that. Well, up until now in ScreenFlow, you can't require it. It's kind of crazy, but you can't require it, at least on the form in runtime. So now you can. So that shores up what I consider to be a bit of a gap on the Flow side. Here's another one. So up until now, the lowest increment of time that Flow had in terms of schedules was day. Now you can actually go down to the minute. So here's an example. So let's say that you have an event coming up at 5 o'clock on a Friday, and you have all of the participants are in the system. You can send a reminder 90 minutes before the event, down to the minute level, which can be really important, rather than the day before, which is too far behind. Also, what about on the service side, escalating a case if it's not responded to by 4 p.m., which is 1 hour before the close of business? Those are now things you can do in Flow. Another cool thing is this. It's kind of expanding. There's a get records action. It's been around for years. Now there's get related records. So here's the concept. Let's say your stakeholder says, when the opportunity gets to the negotiation stage, I need you to send an email to all the contacts for that account. Okay, you could do that up until now. You just go in, you create a couple actions to get account and get contacts. Now you can do it all at once. So say, give me everything. Give me all the account information and all the related contacts in one collection. Now I can go through that and generate that email to that customer. Finally, on the topic of Flow is debugging. So debugging's been around forever. It does a great job, but there's some limitations in terms of how granular it gets with error messages. Well, now they've expanded that. They have actually a nice little card concept where they have different cards within the debugging tool, and there's an error card that goes into a lot more detail, including information about elements that were updated or created as a result of create or update actions. So it allows you to peek directly into those actions, which you couldn't do before. Now, here's another one. Permission sets, profiles. I don't know when the last time they did a major update on this area. It's always been solid forever. But one of the things that's been a little annoying is if you want to make a change, let's say you have 10 profiles, but you want to make a change to 3 of them in a certain area. Well, you've got to click into profile 1, make the change. Click into profile 2, make the change, and so on. It's tedious. Now they've simplified it. So you can, for example, edit object permissions across all permission sets and profiles from one place. They've made a big UI update in that area. Last but not least, Salesforce Go. So this is really cool. Imagine all the things in Salesforce that are available to you. Let's say you have an org and you're using Sales Cloud, doing great. By the way, there are probably dozens of features that Salesforce has released that you could take advantage of. Some of which might require a little bit of installation and configuration, but nevertheless, there's an enormous amount of things out there that you can use. Salesforce Go allows you to see that. What's available to you. You can discover, configure, and manage features in your org through Salesforce Go. Here's the cool thing there is, if you're an admin and you could take a look at that and maybe come up with some cool ideas to maybe suggest to your stakeholders. Say, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but we have access to this cool function. So it can be really maybe make you a hero, actually, in terms of some of your admins out there. So those are the 10 that I personally, after looking at the release notes, really got excited about. There are a lot more. Some of you out there might have your own list of 10, of course, but these are mine. So feel free to like and subscribe to my videos. I'll continue doing this and helping all the admins out there and those interested in Salesforce to be better. Thanks a lot.